Welcome to In Your Element podcast, where we dive into stories of those thriving in their element. From entrepreneurs, influencers, to chefs, musicians, and the community leaders, we explore their journeys, struggles, and successes. I'm Randall Pink with Natalie Kaufman, and today we're bringing you another incredible conversation with Kate Cosentino. Welcome back. This is In Your Element podcast. I'm Randall Pink. Unfortunately, Natalie can't be here today, but we have a great guest. We have here
Kate Cosentino.
Cosentino. I was wondering how you pronounce that, so it's Cosentino.
Cosentino, yep.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and dive into it. So tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're all about.
Yeah, I'm Kate. I am a kooky, nerdy songwriter and artist. Grew up in Kansas City playing jazz guitar, moved to Nashville, and now I write goofy songs and perform them wherever I can.
Nice. I
Yeah.
really like your style.
Thank you.
What kind of style would you identify that as?
Today I have a very 80s maximalist blazer happening. But I would say in general, I just like to wear every pattern and color at the same time and see what I can get away with.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You know, just
Yep.
boom, whatever works. Right?
Exactly.
You're from Kansas City?
Yes.
How is Kansas City over there?
Kansas City is the best.
Yeah.
We were saying this earlier, but it's a lot like Cincinnati in that it's a hidden gem in the Midwest where people go and they're like, wait, there's stuff to do here? Yeah. People are lively and nice and fun? Yes. In fact, we are.
I've never been, but I definitely have heard some good things about Kansas City. But is it surrounded by like kind of like what we're surrounded by, which is corn?
Yeah, it's less like the further out into Kansas and Missouri you go, the more you get like straight up cornfields. Like there's a lot of suburbia kind of around Kansas City. But then, yes, the further you go, it's just like cows. Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. So how did you start with your instruments or getting into music in general?
Yeah, from a young age, I was like just into it because my parents played good music around the house. But the catalyst was definitely Guitar Hero 3.
Oh, yeah.
Very important game, very pivotal moment. I heard like Cliffs of Dover and said, "Me, I want to play guitar."
Nice. So did it teach you how to play guitar essentially?
No, in fact, I ended up taking lessons and also just like teaching myself at home. But just I think having it in my hand and seeing like all these sick like rock stars playing guitar, I was like, put me up there, put me in.
That's awesome. I wasn't a much of a guitar hero guy. All my friends played it, but I think for me, I couldn't comprehend. I was like looking. Now I'm a Dance Revolution person.
Oh yeah.
I could do that, but I think it was having something in my hand trying to play.
Yes.
Just wasn't for me.
Got the feet, not the hands. That's okay.
Well said on that. Well said on that. So tell me a little bit about how you jumped into actually fulfilling the music side of things.
Yeah. I mean, I'd just been doing it forever, like really. I put out my first like EP in middle school. Like I learned really quickly, like not that it's any good, but I did it. And that's what counts, right? You have to be bad to be good.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
You have to be bad to be good. So I kind of just started writing with like inspiration from my voice teacher and just like the music I was listening to. Did it all through middle school, high school, and then went to college at Belmont in Nashville. And that's where I kind of got the like, here's how to make it a business and pursue it professionally. And now coming out of that, I'm in the, I guess, pursuing it professionally arena.
I'd say so.
I'd say so. Yeah.
So you knew early on, obviously you dropped your first EP in middle school.
Yeah.
So you knew when you took that college jump
Yeah.
that you wanted to do music?
Yeah. I had like the, this is so like embarrassing. I was a gifted kid, which means nothing except that I was a nerd. And so I feel like I had the reverse struggle in school where I was like, I could be anything. I could be a doctor. And music just kept knocking on my door. Like I just was like, but what I actually care about is writing music and making stuff that connects with people. So, and my parents are sick and we're like, you need to do, like, music is what you want to do. Just because you get good grades doesn't mean you can't do music.
You can't do music.
Yes.
So which is kind of like the opposite of a lot of people where like
Yes.
you get bad grades and then all of a sudden you're like a music career and your parents are probably looking at you like,
what?
I don't
Yes.
know. You gotta apply yourself somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
But I like that a lot. And nerds can be good at a lot of things.
Yeah. They're very good at many things because we hyperfixate.
Yes, I'm a hyperfixator
Yeah.
myself.
I love it.
So tell me a little bit about where you went after college.
So after college, I graduated in like a really fun year where nothing monumental happened, which was 2020. It was so fun. But in some ways, it was super freeing because I was like, what else is there to do but what I want to do? The job, there's no other job. So I started just like kind of writing music, playing like on people's records, whatever I could do. And then I recorded an EP again, released it. And then right after that, got the call for The Voice in 2021, 2022. I don't remember when that happened. And that kind of sparked okay, we're back in live music. Like COVID is kind of dying down a little bit. And it was kind of a crazy way to enter into that.
Nice. So how did The Voice reach out to you?
So I had auditioned like my freshman year of college, and I think they kept my audition in like a vault somewhere. And I got an email that was like, hey, send in a digital audition. We think you'd be great. And that was in 2021, I think. And so I didn't make it. They did it the next year, and I was like, you're joke. I don't want to do this. That's so silly. So I sent in what I would call a joke audition because I sang Play That Funky Music, White Boy,
Oh yeah.
and like hammed it up. Like I threw sunglasses on, like it was goofy. And I got on the show.
Nice.
Yep, that was the
Just
one.
being yourself.
Just being me.
Yeah.
Just being me. Yeah.
I think that took the pressure off a little bit. Like, okay, this is a serious audition
Yes.
versus, you know what? I did this last year. I'm gonna just throw it out there,
Yep.
and then it caught.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, speaking of The Voice, tell me a little bit about that process. So they reached out to you via email. You did the audition, and now, how long was it before they like reached out and said, "Hey, come on out"?
Yeah. So like that initial step, it was in the spring at some time, and then in the summer they were like, you've made it to the next step. Then you have to do like a digital interview and keep doing a couple things. So it was like maybe a month later that they were like, hey, we're gonna fly you out. And then I flew out for the blind audition, and that took a month to film, just that. Like you're out there practicing, like doing all the behind the scenes stuff for 3 weeks, and then on the 4th week you get to see if you get a chair turn, which is like no pressure at all.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of pressure, I feel like.
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that?
I felt like so glad that it happened at that point in my life, because like you said, with me just being goofy in that audition, it's like I'm pretty comfortable with myself and who I am as an artist versus if I'd done it like at 16 or something. So I just kind of was like, I'm gonna have fun. I am on the NBC Universal lot. This is sick. I am in a go-kart. I'm getting costumes. Like, just enjoy the experience, because even if I don't get the like chair turn, like, can I just be present and enjoy being there? And so that helped kind of take some of that pressure off. And my goal honestly was like, let me just be myself and find my people, even if this is the only episode I get. Like, if I don't get a chair turn, like, if I can just do my thing, someone will find me that likes my music. And so that was way less stressful than being like, this is my big break.
Yes.
You know?
You took all the expectations kind of down a little bit.
Yeah.
And just was yourself. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And I think that kind of goes back to your audition too. Like, if you took it like super serious.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I nailed it. All right, next step, I got to take this serious.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were just able to be yourself and be like, hey,
yeah.
they got me. Being myself got me here. So
Exactly.
just continue it. That's awesome. I think a lot of times people, especially in today's world, don't live in the present.
Yeah.
So when you take on opportunities like that to be present, I think it goes a lot further.
Oh, yeah. Even just for the joy of it. Because, like, I practiced, you're stuck in a hotel room. I was singing that song every day. So I was kind of like, I know I've done the work to be good enough. So anything on top of that would just be, like, messing me up. So just enjoy. Like, I'm never going to do this again. That's awesome.
How are the contestants? Were you able to, like, mingle with the contestants and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
It truly turned into, like, a college dorm cohort because we were stuck in the hotel. Because, like, COVID was, like, kind of ending, but we were in LA, and so it was just stricter because also they're filming a show. If someone gets sick,
Right.
we're all toast.
Yeah.
So we could not leave the hotel. And so we became friends very quickly. And they were awesome. Like, I really feel like lightning struck and I got a lucky group of people because pretty much everyone was super nice and like just excited to be there. There wasn't much drama. Thank goodness.
I could see that being drama filled depending on the type of person.
Yes. Yes.
During that whole process, that whole month, on that 4th week, is that when they said, "Hey, you got an episode," or how did that go?
So like that 4th week, basically you wake up every morning and they're like, here's the list of people who are going to come and do a blind audition today. And so I got mine on, I think, the 2nd day. And so you kind of know through the grapevine of other people who are auditioning, like who got sent home and how many spaces there are on teams. So I lucked out that it was still early on and I knew like there are still spaces on pretty much every team. Like I have the pick of the lot. I wasn't going on the last day, which would have been, like maybe. And so then you go over and they can change the order at any time. You're just kind of waiting to be called and you hear people doing their audition, which is like, honestly, you would think, oh, I'm so intimidated because they're so good. But more what was hard is hearing like the best person you've ever heard not get any chair turns. It's so painful. It's like the worst thing to hear in the world.
Yeah, because then you're like starting to think like, okay, if they didn't get it, would I be getting it? Or
Yes.
damn, they should have.
You're doing math that you can't control.
Yeah.
Like straight up, the guy that went right before me got 4 chair turns. And I was like, well, I'm done, guys. It's not happening.
They're not going to turn their chair now.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. And I was totally fine. I got 3. Like, we're fine. But backstage, you're like trying to do the statistics and like it's stupid.
Can someone hand me a pen real quick?
Yes. Yes.
That's so funny. Tell me about the experience of actually walking on stage.
Oh, yeah. It was so cold. I was sweating. It was like, oh my God. But honestly, the fear, I didn't feel that much fear because their backs were turned.
Right.
And
I wonder if they do that on purpose.
I think so. I mean, and it's the premise of the shows. They're not supposed to see you. So like, there's that.
That's true.
But like, it felt like, oh, I just walked through and was rehearsing. So I just pretended that they didn't exist. And so it was totally fine. And then when they turned around, I was like, that's when I had to remind myself to keep performing. It wasn't like fear. It was just like, do not freak out, because it was just me and my guitar. Like most people played with the band, or like they were playing, but they also had the band.
Yeah.
It was straight up just me. So I was like, if you stop playing,
you're like, I'm done here.
I'm done. Sorry. I got the chair turn by.
Like, hi.
Yes.
Yeah. So is it filmed in a live audience? Like you have a live audience and stuff?
Yes.
Are the lights dimmed down a little bit so like you can't really see it? Or are you walking on and it's like, a stadium type of thing?
It is definitely smaller than it appears on TV. Like it looks like a huge stadium and it's big, but like there weren't a crazy amount of people to me. And also just I perform so much now that I was like, that's not the scary part of this.
Yeah, it's these guys right here. Yeah.
I was like, you guys are civilians who have my back.
You're doing your song and you get the first, second, third. How was that experience when you took all that in? I know it was probably hard to, like you said, just not stop playing.
Yeah.
And then you finished it all, and then you got the feedback. Like, was it? I just watched it not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like, was it very hard to choose, or did you already know, like, when you got that third, who you were gonna pick?
Ooh, I went in knowing like who I wanted. I had like in my mind, this is who I'm gonna choose. And then when they started fighting for me, I was like, oh, guys, this is so flattering. So it definitely made it more difficult, but all of the reasons, because I knew I wanted Niall going in, and the reasons I felt that way were like songwriting was my main thing. Like I just feel like of all the people on that stage, I was like, he does the singer-songwriter. Like I kind of want to be attached to that and get his advice of how he does those kinds of sets. And so when they gave me advice, like Kelly was awesome and was like, here's like what I could do for you vocally, like very vocal technique focused. Chance was like, you're cool. And I was like, God, I think he's so awesome. I just wanted to hang out with him. And then Niall specifically was like, I could get you in the room with so many people. Like, you're such a great songwriter. And I was like, all right, keyword, that's my choice for sure. Yeah.
Boom. And then after that episode aired, tell me about working with Niall a little bit.
Yeah. It was great. I mean, like, the coaches don't work with you as much as it looks like on TV, comparatively to being out there for 3 months filming. But Niall was super sweet. Like, he definitely took like a lot of time to help think through song choices and give advice. And he's a very funny Irish man. So we had a lot of just like banter back and forth. Yeah, just a good guy.
Was it mainly like his people that were working with you every once in a while too, or like what?
No, it's really just him, and then the rest is voice people. So like their crew and whatever organizes everything else. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a great experience.
Yeah,
And
it was
so
cool.
you were able to take. Did you make friends like while you were out there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm
The
still
connections
friends with
and
a bunch of them. A bunch of them came to my wedding that same year, and it was it
wow,
was really sweet.
that is awesome.
Yeah,
Who would have
yeah.
thought? Who would have thought?
Genuinely, I wouldn't have, and I didn't expect to make friends. So I think that made it even more like special that I walked out of it with a lot of really close friendships.
Yeah, I think when you're in the trenches with people, regardless of what the situation is, you're like, hey,
Yes.
we're bonding here, and we're gonna
Yes.
take this bond somewhere else once we're out of the trenches.
Exactly. Yes.
Going back to your music career, after The Voice, tell me a little bit about that. As far as coming back, did you go back to Nashville?
Yeah. Yeah, I went back to Nashville and just kind of like was trying to ride the wave. Still am riding the wave, I guess, of I want to tour. I want to put out my music. Like, this is the time to do it. I had this cool like blip of a moment
Yeah,
and it's over. So let's just see how to
where it
keep it
goes.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came back, got to play some of the coolest shows I've ever played, especially in Kansas City, just because my hometown, they got me. They got my back. And so I got to like open for Judah and the Lion, open for Ricky Montgomery, and play like venues that as a kid I was like, that's where I want to play. So cool. Like, that has been definitely the best part of it all. But yeah, it's still so DIY. I think people think you go on The Voice and they're like, wow, they must have given you so much money and a booking agent and all of these resources. And I'm like, they were very nice. They put me on TV and I met new people, and like, people take you seriously, I guess now, which is silly. But other than that, it's all me. Like, every show I've booked, all me. Every like single thing is a self-produced effort since The Voice.
Well, that's nice because, like, at the end of the day, in the fact that you went to college for the music, right?
Yes.
So you have the business aspect. I think a lot of times, whether it's local musicians or you get a little blurb of fame, if you will,
Yeah.
but they don't know what to do with it, right?
Yes.
So now you got that background as far as you got on The Voice.
Yep.
They flew you home, and now you're like, I'm going to take this. I know what to do with it. I'm going to just ride this train out.
Yes. Yes. And like, I think fame is a little bit silly, where I'm just like, I came back to Kansas City especially, and I felt like some of my musician friends were like, oh, you're so big now, you couldn't possibly want to like collab with me anymore. And I'm like, first of all, objectively false. I'm on TV right at this moment. It's a cool, like, yay me. But you're going to have that moment in like the next month. You're going to have that moment in a year of some other thing that I just like keeping the care and the humbleness, I guess, of it. We're still all just musicians who should collab with each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's important.
No, I love that. I really do, because I feel like a lot of people that would have been in your situation, depending on how they look at things,
Yeah.
would have been like, their head would have got a little bit bigger. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah. Especially when the people are like reaching out, your old friends or your new friends or whatever are reaching out, being like, oh, you're so good. You don't probably want to hang out with us. It's like, yeah, you're right. I don't, And
Yeah.
I think the local music scene, like for me, I have a passion for the people that actually apply themselves and
Yeah.
like they stay local and they're humble.
Yes.
Cincinnati has a great music scene,
Mm.
and that's why we were talking about off camera as far as like the hidden gem,
Yes.
especially in the local scene of things, because we all support one another, or we should, and just being able to take that wherever you go and wherever TV show you might get on next.
Oh yeah, 100%. I honestly think like one of the most healing things after going on The Voice was this past November. I went on tour with an emo band from Toledo called Equipment. They're awesome.
Nice.
Like, sweetest people. And like, that to me, the emo music scene is so DIY, so people just like supporting it and being in community. And that is the roots of what's so cool about music to me versus this like big giant industry. Like, to me, that is the industry and just the reason to do it. It's the connection. It's like fun. So
I definitely feel like the smaller the bands and the smaller the communities, that just stick with one another is more genuine than just me wanting to go seeing a mainstream thing and
Right.
paying the ridiculous ticket prices to
Yes.
support them, right? But really, what we should be supporting is the local guys that go out there, spend their dollars, sell everything that they have to buy a beat up truck or a beat up van, and they're out there making it, to get their name out. So tell me a little bit about maybe your struggles as a local musician or a mainstream musician, kind of like getting out of the trenches a little bit.
Yeah. Man, that's a great question. I just feel like being in music is constantly the trenches. Uh, so I don't know if I'm out of them. Sometimes I peek my head out. Um, I think the community aspect is helpful. Having people who are going through the same thing is helpful in that you can field each other for ways to get through it. Being like, how did you make this tour cheaper? Being transparent about the economic side of music with others is the most helpful thing. Like when I'm with other musicians, if they're like, how much did it cost you? How much do you pay your band? I'm like, this is what I do. Like straight up, just to be helpful, because I think people don't understand how expensive it is to put on that level of a show. And even like what you're saying, supporting the local acts, even people who are like slightly above, there's so much of this music middle class, I think, that they're struggling. Like unless you're the top of the top, like literally, I mean like Christina Aguilera, Katy Perry, top like pop charts people, you're still like scraping pennies and figuring out how to make it work. Even people like Chapel Roan who have recently blown up, I bet like the economic side hasn't come into play until recently.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think it's crazy because it's such a misconception, with either getting signed or getting your tour out there, and then you're like, hey, I'm back in town now and I'm still struggling or I'm still broke.
Yeah.
We got a couple followers throughout the time, a
Yup.
couple thousand maybe, but then how do you monetize that?
Yes.
And I think that's kind of what I find very interesting about yourself is that you knew what you wanted to do at a younger age.
Yeah.
And you actually applied to go to college and applied yourself that way to understand the economics that go into that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these artists that pop off and get 100,000 followers or 100,000 views on a song, if you will, or a video,
Yeah.
they get signed and they like sell their life away essentially.
Yup.
Because they just don't know the back ends of things.
Yep. Totally.
So I think that also creates this cloud around the mainstream of like, hey, if you made it or if you didn't make it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, it's got its stigma, if you will.
For sure. For sure. It's like probably the biggest thing I'm grateful for going to college for music business is I can read a contract. Even just with the voice, like everybody who read that contract was like, oh my God, yippee, yippee, this is amazing. And I was like, did you read it? Did you read it? Like, not that it not saying anything in particular about it, but like, I understood the nuances of what certain terms meant and things where I was like, it's not the greatest deal you could get, So.
Did you have any mentors growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. My voice teacher was like my best friend and just like fabulous mentor of technique and vocal stuff, but also just like living life and trying to pursue music professionally. She was an opera singer.
Oh, yeah.
And that is just a crazy world in its own. So having someone to kind of help me find my artist voice was always super helpful growing up.
Find your tune.
Yeah, find my tune.
I love vocal teachers in general because I feel like they're like the first stop, or even music teachers in general, right?
Yeah.
They're the first stop to be like, okay, this kid's got something here.
Yes.
This kid's got something. I'm going to see you after class. I'm going to get you to come out of your comfort zone and actually apply yourself a little bit more.
Yes.
Because then I, as a kid, like everything's like, you could be distracted by a lot, right? But to have somebody like a mentor to be like, hey, you're really good at this. You should do something. You could do something.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to your parents about this.
Oh yeah, making you feel like it's possible to do that thing that seems impossible.
Yeah.
You can't even bottle that feeling. That's like what a truly great mentor is. And I feel like a lot of my teachers were that way with me, and it was just helps. Especially when you're a weird kid in school. Like, people were generally nice to me because I was like, I'm weird, deal with it. But to have like adults be like, no, I see you are good at this thing, like work hard, it will happen, helpful. Yeah.
Everyone needs a little push
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
Whichever direction that may be.
Totally.
So with that being said, what kind of advice would you give to somebody else that wants to pursue what you do?
Oh gosh, so many words of wisdom at the ripe young age of 26. Man, I feel like protecting the joy of making art is really important if you want to pursue it as a career, because you can easily get wrapped up in just doing the business side. Or like you're so caught up in the numbers, in the like people liking it, that you forget to make things that you enjoy. So keeping some part of it sacred for yourself, I think, is really important. Whether that's like every morning you write in your journal and you don't judge what you write, like making sure you have pieces of joy within the process still is important.
Something pure.
Yes.
Something that makes you grounded of what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Exactly.
We talk a lot about on this show, a lot about passion and just being passion driven and stuff like that. And I think that goes so far, thinking that you have to, I got to get money, I got to go to college for this, and because this is the safe zone, right?
Yes.
But I think the safe zone, the older I get, my safe zone is something I'm more passionate about, because that's going to last a lot longer than being tapped out when you're like, okay, I took this job because I needed the money.
Yeah.
And now I hate my life.
Yeah.
Or I hate what I do. And so many people, I feel like, are in that boat.
Yes.
And it's hard to get off of it once you jump on it. But growing up, if you would have just taken a step a little further, or had to push to be like, hey, you're good at this. This is what you like to do. Go for it.
Yes. I think that's really profound advice too, of just like, I think it's good to do it all in at some point. Like, try it, and then you will understand where you are being drained in the process and where you're like having passion. Because even like for me, for the past 3 or 4 years, I've done music full time. It's awesome. That's all I've ever wanted to do. This past year, I was like, I'm a little burnt out. So I started working at a bagel shop so that there was a little less pressure for all my money to come from my art. And knowing I had done it for a bit and taking that break, it's like, who cares? Who cares? This is making the creative process better. But I wouldn't know that if I hadn't let myself do it fully. And now I'm like, okay, I'm still doing it quote unquote fully, but I also make a little money and don't think about it,
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the kind of songs that you write too,
Yeah.
right? Because it's more like the real life type thing.
Yeah.
I love the last song, at least the one that I recently saw, where you were talking about pretty much applying for a job.
Oh, yeah.
So real.
Yes.
So real.
Your application's denied.
Yes, that's the one. Yep.
That resonates with a lot of people, especially like post-COVID, where like everyone's hiring, but everyone's applying.
Yeah.
But no one's getting selected, because I feel like some of these companies are like, it's an open position. We're not really looking to fulfill right now, but we'll interview candidates, And it's
Yep.
like, oh, give me some feedback, because they just ghost you after a while.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't have the right words in your resume for the algorithm that they used to read it to pick it up. And now, yeah. Or they'll do this ridiculous thing. That song comes out in a couple weeks. I'm so excited because I just like can't wait to make like memes about it. Because they'll bring you in for like 3 or 4 interviews and then not give you the job. And I'm like, you know how much time you're wasting? Like, these people are trying to make money.
Yes. One of my last questions that I asked the interviewer, like, hey, is there any reason that you wouldn't hire me? And they're like, no, you look great. And then
Yep.
they ghost you. And then you're like, you almost want to spiral a little bit and be like, hey,
Yes.
hey, why didn't you hire me? Hey, I'm assuming I didn't get the position. And then 2 months later, like, hey, that position's been filled. It's like, well, that would have been nice to know.
Right. Just be transparent, dude.
Or
Yes.
constructive feedback, like, which I
Yes.
get from like a legal standpoint. They don't want you like feeling a certain way. But
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about why you didn't select me, so that I can take it for my next interview.
Yeah.
So then tell me, what's next for you?
Ooh, what's next for me? I feel like I've started writing kind of in that vein, which I will call like lightly satirical pop music. So I'm kind of wanting to put out a series of songs. Maybe it'll be an album, maybe it'll be songs, I don't know, that are in that vein. and releasing them over this coming year. So
Nice.
that's kind of the thing I am building at the moment.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell the little people about where they could find you.
Yeah, you can find me on anything, anywhere, under Kate Cosentino. Most of my handles are Kate with a K, Katem for Marie, because duh. And then Cosentino, which is Cosentino.
Awesome. And then one of the last questions I have for you is music would be in your element. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me something that was out of your element.
Out of my element?
Yeah. Something that you have to do, maybe you don't like to do, but you find yourself kind of questioning. Like it could be gardening. It could be something that you're like, oh, I got to do it, but this is something that's out of my element.
Oh my gosh. Sitting in silence is out of
Ooh.
my element.
Sitting in silence.
Yes.
As I feel like as somebody who writes songs,
Yeah.
that's gotta be that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I'm a yapper. I come from a big Italian family, so I've never experienced silence. And so when I do, I'm like, what is this?
Sometimes silence can be louder than music
Yes.
around you.
Yes.
I find myself when I'm like sitting in silence, I'm like sitting there, like, what is that noise?
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's just your thoughts.
Yep. Turn those off. Turn them down.
Yeah,
Turn them
right,
down a little bit.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah.
I'm Randall Pink, and this is
Kate Cosentino.
Thank you so much.
For having me. Nailed it.